Moving on, town manager report.
Okay. All right. So thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first update through you to the public is that last Friday, the governor signed the legislation to extend remote meeting participation that was set to expire yesterday. And so now the new extension runs through June 30, 2027. And we'll probably be facing this about a month beforehand, before June 30, 2027. Next time. Okay, local receipts. So now that we have completed March, we're 3/4 through the fiscal year. Today, the finance director ran our local receipts report, and we have collected $2,018,976.67. The projected figure, so the target that we are aiming for, is $3,361,988.50. There's a difference of a little over 1.3 million, or 60% collected. This is similar to the trend last year at this time in March, where it was 60.9 cents. I had here that the finance director is conducting further analysis on receipts, but basically in looking at the unreconciled receipts for motor vehicle excise, we are right on target. So I have no concerns at this time, but if there are any concerns or irregularities with receipts, I will bring those forward. The town has been notified that UMass Memorial Health has submitted an application for a satellite emergency facility to the Massachusetts Department of Public Health. This is to address the closure of Neshoba, obviously. The proposed site is in Groton, and it is to provide the region with access to emergency physicians, clinicians, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, in addition to qualified emergency staff. They would also provide radiology, imaging, and laboratory services, and have ambulance bays to accept patients brought by ambulance. So I'm not sure if the board would like to consider supporting, sending a letter of support at a future meeting, but I just wanted to let folks know that something is happening, although I don't think that this is going to be a quick resolution. Okay. Last Monday, I attended the Joint Committee on Ways and Means FY26 budget hearing focusing on local aid at UMass Amherst. Also in attendance were the superintendent and several members of the school committee. The hearing was standing room only, with hundreds of people gathered outside. Following the hearing, I did speak with Representative Scarsdale, and I reiterated one of the pieces of testimony that was given by the executive director of the Mass Municipal Association, which was, as soon as the legislature can arrive at a consensus figure around unrestricted government aid, or UGA, and Chapter 70, the better. There's obviously a lot that the legislature will need to work out with the budget process, but if they can arrive at those figures before town meeting season, it may greatly impact town meetings, including ours. Also, following up, with the state budget season underway, Representative Scarsdale has reached out to obtain requests for local earmarks. She provided a funding target of approximately, she was looking for projects under the $50,000 range. So I provided her 4 potential earmarks from the FY26 capital plan that fell within that target. So it was the security system upgrades for the public schools, management and eradication of invasive weeds at Marshall Pond, design and engineering for the Lunenburg Primary School, and interior improvements at the Adult Activity Center. And so she has decided to move forward with the request for security system upgrades, which is the servers for the security camera systems at the school department, as the earmark request for Lunenburg this year. I understand that the chair of the Cemetery Commission has also been in touch with Representative Kuchmarik's office and has renewed a prior request for $38,000 to fund monument restoration for both South and North cemeteries. So I haven't heard from Senate's, usually in a couple weeks after, I haven't heard from Senator Cronin's office, but I anticipate that I'll be hearing a similar request from him. My strategy tends to be that I don't want 2 different projects living, one in the House budget, one in the Senate budget, and then have neither come out of conference committee. So I tend to just ask the Senate to support, if something prevails in the House budget, to support that request. Otherwise, if the House budget is not supported, then submit a new request on the Senate side, but,
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a question or comment? So, thank you first. I think that it's, every year typically the select board provides to the state delegation a list of priorities for earmarks. I think that is a very important tradition for this board to be able to receive those requests from, the school committee, from other areas in town, and then speak in a unified voice to our elected officials, our state delegation, for what we'd like to see. So, while I don't disagree with anything that you've put forward, I do think in the future that the tradition we have here, it would be that we should maintain that.
and just to respond to that, I totally hear that. You're going to need to do that in January, because you get a call from the legislative delegation, and you have less than 24 hours to give a
We
response.
usually do
Yeah.
it in January. And
Okay, okay, excellent. So just as long
mostly
as we
talking
get that on the calendar, because when that call comes, it's usually they've scheduled a meeting with Ways and Means Chair, and we can't convene a meeting, right? So,
Understood, yep.
all right. The Finance Committee public hearing is this Thursday, April 3rd at 7 PM. And lastly is MRPC, Montezut Regional Planning Commission, has applied to the Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness MVP grant program to fund a project that will survey small local farmers to understand the impact of climate change on their operations and allow for an examination of zoning and general bylaws to evaluate potential changes that would support regional agriculture. The local agricultural commission and I signed on to a letter in support of MRPC's application. So if they receive that grant funding, I will report back. Okay, project updates. The first update is on the Flat Hill Bridge project. I'm sure folks have seen some activity starting over there, and the road was shut down, and now have seen equipment being pulled out. So Kennefec Corporation, who is our contractor, closed the roadway on Friday, March 7th, 2025. However, the level of the lake had risen by 3+ feet. Kennefec's water control plan was likely inadequate for this level of water, and therefore no work had been done. They did submit a request to the DPW director requesting an additional year extension, citing their inability to control the water at this time. The DPW director has responded this week to that request, formally denying the extension. Legal counsel has been advised of the situation and is working with the town on the next steps. Kennefec has now moved most of their equipment from the site. The DPW director did ask MassDOT to come out and inspect the bridge before reopening it to vehicular traffic. They were out today, and they did not see any large changes since their last inspection 3 months ago. However, their underwater bridge inspection team will be coming out this week to inspect before opening it up to traffic. Next week, I'm sorry. The inspector also thought it may be a good idea to impose a weight posting on the bridge. The thought is that a 6-ton limit would be good, as school buses would be able to cross, but big trucks would not. So we have to resolve the contractual issue before we can move forward with this project. I did have an update on the cleaning contract that now is under contract about 3 hours ago. So we had a little bit of difficulty with our low bidder, our parent low bidder, getting all the information that we needed for the cleaning of municipal buildings, but it seems as though everything is in order now, and I did execute that contract. So I'm not going to read the rest of my update on that item then. We are putting out an IFB tomorrow for roadway maintenance, fog seal, and crack seal. The due date will be April 23rd with an anticipated start date of June 2nd. The total anticipated cost is $233,000, and it is 9.52 miles of fog seal and 6.99 miles of crack seal. Town hall roof replacement is nearly complete, and the project is proceeding as expected. Work is ongoing with the Adult Activity Center kitchen renovation. The sub-slab cast iron pipe has been repaired with epoxy, and the plumbing work has now been inspected, and the next step will be to pour the concrete. And landscapers, contractors have begun spring cleanups. The softball field and power field at Marshall Park have been completed. Vacancies, we have executive assistant to the town manager and select board at 36 hours per week. We have an offer pending for the part-time sewer business manager position. We're still waiting on lifeguard and beach directors. Cemetery seasonal laborers, the 2 individuals from last season, it appears, are returning, and so that is great. The administrative assistant 10-hour-a-week position in conservation, there's an offer pending, and the library page position that had been posted has now been filled. And the current vacancies, I'll just read these quick. Agricultural Commission 1, APDC 1, Board